Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, as Ryan said, wherever you are. Good to see everybody today. Welcome, Gemini, to your February 2020 reading. This is a live forecast, as you can see, as are all of mine this month. I'm really happy to see everyone. I saw there was a little bit of activity in the chat room, so I thought I would start early. And some of you wanted to see Apollo, so I thought I'd bring him up for a moment just to say hello. So I'm going to put him down and we're going to get started here. This is going to be a really powerful reading, actually, because good morning, everyone. As I was walking my dog this morning, I started to receive all kinds of information and energy for your sign. So even before getting started, I knew that this was going to be really impactful and really exciting for you. So let me first just get started by saying welcome back to everybody that is a return viewer. I see a lot of familiar faces there and people that I have seen before, so good to see you. And if you're brand new, just a quick heads up on how this format has evolved and what to expect today. Every month, I like to separate the reading into a few distinct parts. I start off with channeled information, which is me connecting directly with intuition and sharing that with you. After that, I will move into a Celtic cross, which is going to give you all the highlights, any of the challenges that you might see in the month ahead as well. And then we look at the expanded forecast, which is going to show you health, wealth, love, and destiny. Now, in each of my live forecasts, I'm doing something special, which is I put a special meditation video, and we're going to be focusing this month on manifestation. Now, with your sign, there's going to be an emphasis on healing and growth, and I'm going to talk about this in just a moment when we get into your channeled message, because it goes hand in hand. So hopefully that's going to be something that you really enjoy. And by the way, I just want to welcome Ryan and Maria, who are going to help moderate today. One thing that's unique with these live readings is it gives me a chance to interact with you. However, when I'm doing the shuffling of cards, channeling of the information, at that point, I'm going to really remain focused on the messages coming through to you. So if you have any questions, the moderators will help. And unlike a lot of readers that go live, this is not a Q&A and it's not a pick a card. I may do that separately in the future, but for this, it's going to be a chance just to interact with me as I go through the reading and watch it live, basically. One thing that I do like about these live readings is you're getting really about 6 weeks of forecast. Even though I'm saying this is for February, most of you are watching it in January, and it's giving you a chance to exercise free will. And instead of playing catch up as we were doing over the past 5 years, you have a lot of, basically a lot of free will and opportunity to change things as we look at all of these opportunities that are in play for you. So with that being said, just one thing that I'd like to add. There is a new way that you can support me doing on these live readings. So if you enjoy what you see and you want to just give me a shout out and show some love, there's a little icon right next to the emoji place, and this is Super Chat. And Super Chat is a way for you to add a sticker or say something with emphasis. And what I'll do is, after the video is available for replay, I'll go back in the comments and just say thanks. I do look at the end of the video, watch the live chat replay and look and see what's been going on. So I'll acknowledge all of you there. I just want to say thank you. It helps me continue to buy new cards and to just keep up with the production that's necessary for this. So much love and light to any of you that decide to do the super chat. Let's go ahead and get into the messages for you, because there's so much going on and I really need to get started here. So as I said, when I was walking the dog this morning, something struck me about California seasons here. This is one of the few places that I've lived where I can actually see both like death and rebirth almost any time of the year, because it's a very temperate climate. So at any given point, something seems to be passing into a sort of neutral stage or is going dormant, and then we see something else blooming. And I was struck by the cycles of death and rebirth that were all over today. And one thing that I was thinking about for you was how to create a new season in your life, that you don't have to wait for winter, fall, spring, summer to create a change. Sometimes we look at the cycles of the moon, the months in the calendar, whatever's going on, and we think that we're somehow tethered to that. And the truth this month for you is that you can shift that season however you need to shift it. And that there's a lot of opportunity to come through a period, even if there's something that's been going on that's uncomfortable, and you can heal and experience both growth and regrowth during that period. So this month, as I was looking at the leaves on the ground that had fallen from the trees, these beautiful colors. It was like golden, and some of them were just brown too. But then I had another tree as I was walking that was in blossom. I thought, what a wonderful contrast. And I was also struck to, I think that one thing that we'll do in the meditation is also send some love and healing energy to Australia, who, with all of the sort of fires that are going on. Here in California, we experience things like that as well. Fires, mudslides, earthquakes, obviously. And what I've noticed after a natural disaster, especially a fire hits, is that all this new growth comes up in the forest. There's certain flowers and wildflowers that actually only grow after a fire kind of breaks through the seed. So this month, I want to see if we can create a big shift, some big growth, some healing where it's necessary after some of the difficulties that we've dealt with over the past year, so that 2020 can be a chance to rebound. So Gemini, you have a lot of rebound energy, and I get this energy of like bouncing or flexibility or being able to come back. And so that's what I want to help your sign with this month, okay? So nice to see everyone from all across the world, by the way. I see Belgium, I see France, and all over. So it's so nice to meet all of you. Thank you for joining today. Now that we just got through this channeled message, I would like to turn the camera down, give the cards a shuffle. I'm going to lay out everything, both the Celtic Cross and the expanded forecast. So I ask that while I'm assembling the cards that you just remain patient, and I will rejoin you immediately after I've done that, and we'll talk about everything that I'm seeing for the month of February. All right, thank you so much for being patient as I got everything ready here. I love what we see here in your Catalyst card. Harmony is the message and the opportunity for you this month. If you're new, the way that the Catalyst functions is that this is really a connective thread. It helps you go after the highest possibility during any given month, and it also helps you sort of stay grounded where necessary. So with harmony, this can be relationship harmony, because this card has a lot of water in it, a lot of themes of water, as we see with all the aquatic life here, and it's also coming from the heart space. This is also a chance to find balance in your life where it doesn't exist. So this could be work-life balance. This could also be sort of trying to find a way to make things make sense or work where there may be no easy answer or no way to quote unquote win. So this is really just sorting things out, feeling it out from the heart. I really think that that's what's important this month. And notice how the heart's connecting to the third eye here. If you look really closely, it's a beautiful illustration. And when I look at, I think it's dolphins here, there's a high intelligence, of course, with that particular animal, but also a certain sense of playfulness that enters into this. So I would say if there's a way to move forward without taking yourself too seriously, and finding a way also to maybe kind of break the ice with people in your life with whom you're having a difficult time connecting. I think that's going to be key, because sometimes if we're too serious, too severe, too critical, then we lose kind of like connection with the fact that we have to be flexible. We have to kind of have fun. I think sometimes kids and pets are very wise because they don't hold a grudge. They don't get stuck in a certain way of thinking too much. They're not afraid to immediately go in and sort of play and act and try something new. And so as adults, I think if we can just imagine ourselves in a new way of being without kind of critically going through the catalog of reasons why it won't work, that'll be good. And this is going to be a way that you can also create change in your life. So if something needs to shift, if something needs to change, part of the way that you can do that is just by thinking, I'll figure it out. I'm going to do this. It's going to be okay. So let's go ahead and look at your center card now. We have the King of Swords, which is great. This is very much connected to who you are, showing that communication is one of your strongest attributes this month, and it's going to be something that's going to help you get ahead. So don't be afraid to speak your mind, and also don't be afraid to, I think here, I see this little rose that he's holding here. And it actually connects to me with the Death card, because you'll notice in the Death card, there's a white rose in that particular illustration. So there could be something that needs to change or needs to happen this month. And this is about not holding back, not hiding that, but maybe not leading with it, because you notice he's kind of holding the sword first, which is connecting, almost offering some sort of like opening up the heart, opening up the dialogue, maybe even taking the first step. For some of you, that could be an apology, or it could be just reopening a communication line after someone had dropped it and just saying, hey, it's been too long. Is everything okay? Instead of talking about you or assuming the worst, just sort of letting them know that you're thinking about them. Then whatever's on your mind, bring it forth. The only thing that I see here is don't hold that too far back, or don't sort of, you don't want to kind of, you don't want to be too, sometimes you can see through that. So I would say be transparent. If there's something that needs to come up, bring it up. But I think the key here is to lead with empathy, to assume the best, and to listen a little bit. So anyway, communication is key. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody this month, especially if you feel that things are just sort of building up. And I've had things like that in my life. And one thing that I've noticed just from personal experience is that sometimes we put together this almost this kind of soap opera in our head of how things will work out. And invariably, a lot of times it's much less traumatic and dramatic than that. It can actually be quite easy. I think the important thing is to move forward and just lead with love. And that's kind of what we see with this, okay? And I like that as a sort of mantra, lead with love this month. So we have the Knight of Swords over top of the King of Swords. So for many of you, what we're seeing here is a maturity difference. A maturity, some of you could be an age difference. Some of you could just be that, you know, someone else in your life or someone that you're working with just doesn't have the same communication skills as you. So you'll be leading by example. And that's why I see the king leading first and knowing what needs to happen, but waiting to sort of find the right moment, the right time, and the right words. You're going to have the right words because you are the King of Swords. And you're going to be able to negotiate things successfully this month. So if someone has been standing in your way, or if you need someone's help, because what does a knight do? A knight moves things forward. Then absolutely ask for the help, because we see it here. It's all in how you sort of frame the question. You could also let this person know that you couldn't think of anyone better than them to be there for you, to help out with this. And that's a really nice way to bring in assistance. One thing that many of you ask about is love. I talk about love when I see it organically in the cards, and I actually do see an opportunity for a relationship. Two of the same suit, at least in the way that I read, can show love. So does the Three of Cups. So does the Ten of Cups. And to that matter, even the Six of Wands can show success and movement in that front. So what I'm seeing for some of you is that after a period perhaps where you've been keeping to yourself or not been maybe looking for that, and by the way, that's kind of one of the secrets to manifestation, is to hold space but not hold it too tight. guess what? There's opportunities that are abounding with relationships, with partnerships, and with people in your life this month. So I think that this is a time when you really want to put yourself out there. If you're looking for love, if you're looking for a business partnership, if you're retired, this could also just show that there's some old friends coming back into your life, and it's a chance to celebrate, a chance to connect. And if you're a student, you could be having a lot of distractions this month as well because of all of this energy. When I look at love in a moment in the expanded forecast, I'll dig much deeper into that. But I will say, if you're single and looking, or if you're looking to kind of connect with people, really good energy around that. Also, guess what? If you're already in a relationship, there's a chance to find harmony, maybe where it didn't exist, or to go deeper within it. Across the board, success, growth, and improvement on relationships. Okay, so that's great news for you. Looking at the deep past, this is what you're bringing into this month. We have the Page of Wands. I love pages because they are about receiving and also developing or delivering messages. And for me, Wands is about potential energy. So, and I also think of a highly cognitive energy when I'm looking at Wands. So you might have an idea for something that needs to be done. You might be picking up on something. You could hear something. So if you're like a producer, a director, a manager, or an entrepreneur, you could hear something or catch an idea that's kind of in the general consciousness, and you will be able to capitalize on that and do something amazing with that. So by the way, thank you so much, Ryan, for helping out with that. Please, everyone, be nice. This is a community setting here. So as Ryan often says, it's a safe space. Just be kind. As I was saying here, there's a chance to capitalize on something that you pick up on. So really pay attention to what's going on, and don't get distracted. Just like here, if somebody's trying to kind of get your attention, really be discerning on who's deserving of that, and don't let the noise pull you away. So that was actually perfect cosmic timing. There could be someone in your midst that's just kind of like trying to pull you off the path. It's not worth it. So thanks to the person in chat for reminding us of that. Three of Cups. Here's what's really cool as we look at recent past here. This is showing me that one of the ways to find success is to start to get out in either social networks, professional networks, or to ask a friend about something. So if you're trying to get a new job, maybe find a new house, or if you're interested in meeting someone, your social network can be a big help this month. Also, just getting out is important because the overarching energy is the Hermit card in reverse. And with this, it's basically saying about coming out of your shell. And this month, coming out of your shell is going to lead to a chance for you to get new ideas, learn different perspectives from different people, and possibly find something unexpected, something worth celebrating. So all of this is a really great thing that's a chance to learn also for some of you, because this is mentor and mentee, or teacher and student opportunities. So if you're thinking of going back to school, you could find a sense of community. You could really enjoy what you learn. Some great growth things coming through for you this month, but it does require connecting with others. As we look at near future, don't be surprised if you have a chance to sign a contract, or if you get a phone call or an email out of the blue where someone is asking for something. I have the Ace of Swords in the upright position. This can be an opportunity. It could be one that you're putting out to the world, but it could also be one where you're approached by someone and they say, I have this idea, or I need some help, or do you know where I could go for this? There's communication so important this month. So one thing I want you to practice is equal parts listening and also using your great diplomacy skills to get your point across. So active listening and then speaking up when you have something worth saying. It's going to be so important this month. It's not a month to be a wallflower or to kind of sit back and hope that people notice you. I think there'll be a point where if the opportunity doesn't present itself naturally, you're going to make it. Because I do believe that luck to a certain degree is something that you attract or you sort of cultivate. So know that that's something that's within the realm of possibility this month. One thing I did notice, I do glance at chat occasionally as I'm talking. This is not Q&A. I'm going to go through a general reading. Stick around till the end and we can talk a little bit at that point, hold questions till the end, or you can always join me early. I show up about 30 minutes before these live chats just for future reference, okay? Now let's look now in the ego for this month. This is your compass. This is what's going to pull you in a certain direction. So this is where love came in. This is where community comes in again. We have the 10 of Cups here showing that for your personal growth, you're going to be at your best in a group this month. And in fact, as we look at the recent past, you've already started to experience some of that with the 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups, 10 of Cups. Great potential when we're looking at being able to partner up and to find people. Now, the one thing that I will say, if you are single and looking, to me, the 3 of Cups is a very casual card. This is a chance for you to really explore what you want, but it's not one where we see a lot of sort of, I would say, commitment or monogamy. So if you're looking for that, if you're someone who wants to get into a long-term committed relationship, as many of you may be seeking with this 10 of Cups, I would say really make sure that potential partners coming into your life are looking for the same thing. Because as we look between the King, and the Knight card here, we could see people that are at different maturity levels with different expectations. So just make sure that that's expressed at the beginning, and I think you're going to be okay. You'll all have the same sort of insight and the same point of view. Now, if you're in a relationship, the fact that I see the 3 of Cups and the 10 of Cups, it has a much different connotation. For me, 3 of Cups is passion, playfulness, and also spending time with other people. They're not reversed, so I'm not seeing gossip. It's in the past, so I'm not necessarily seeing that there's a third party involved right now. But what I might see for some of you is a chance to rekindle and make things feel like they did when you were first dating, because that's the energy of the 3 of Cups, getting to know someone. And sometimes when you fall into habits, you can sometimes forget the partner or feel like they're forgetting you. And that's kind of what we see here with the Hermit. Remember, though, that the Hermit always carries with him the light, the star, the ability to get back to that. So just spend some time getting to know each other. Intimacy does not always have to equate to physical intimacy. It can be doing things that you love with the person that you love, just trying to reconnect on core levels and again, being playful. I talked way back at the beginning about harmony, and I get a little bit of a sense of, like 6 of Cups or Fool energy with this card too, which is not taking yourself so seriously, having a laugh occasionally. And I think that when you're in a business partnership, a roommate, or a love relationship where you have children or you've been together for a long time, sometimes it falls into the habit of, did you pay this bill? Can you pick up the laundry? Like all this stuff, and it becomes like this list. And so it's really important to get out of the business mode and back into, how are you? And let's do something fun tonight. Let's order in or whatever it is. Okay. So I feel like that kind of energy is going to help you no matter what it is, even a roommate, reconnecting and trying to not always talk about paying the cable bill or something like that. Okay. As we're looking at your environment card, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Don't overthink things this month, because you have a really great insight into what is necessary. We see the Page in the deep past. I like the Queen of Wands, but when she goes into reverse, she can indicate sometimes that you are either trying to manage other people's affairs too much and losing focus on your own, or you have some great idea and you're over editing it, or you're holding back too much. So much as I've learned to do with the life forecast, just put yourself out there this month and hope for the best. There's always going to be, a chance that you might have feedback or not everyone is going to understand it. But I feel that letting go and, again, leading with your heart is going to be really important. That communication is going to break through anything that you've been holding on to that's kind of been bothering you. And you're going to be able to resolve a lot of issues by doing that. Also, you're going to gain some momentum, because I feel like you're holding yourself back a little bit. Overall, I love Queen of Wands. I don't want to give her a bad reputation here. This is a great card for management, for ideation. And I love how we see all this bright energy, like right behind her head, almost like what you would see in an icon in church. So I want you to follow through on that divine energy that's coming through the 7th chakra. You know what you have to do. Don't give your power away to other people, trying to wait for them to understand it, and don't second guess what is coming through as a very divine or clear thought energy. To that end, as we look at what's in the opportunity space, we have the 6 of Wands. Notice how the person riding on the horse is missing here. So it's almost as if people are waiting for their marching orders, or they're waiting to see what you want to do. And they're waiting to also read your body language. I looked at King of Swords, Knight of Swords, Ace of Swords at the center. Communication, communication, communication. But there's different ways to do it. It's not just words. It's eye contact. It's the tone of your voice. It's how you hold yourself. It's posture. It's also proximity. How close do you talk to someone? I really want you to pay attention to subtle communication cues this month, because how you feel, how you communicate, and how you convey all of these things in your mind that we saw with the Queen of Wands, this is how other people are going to then process it. So if you say it with a smile, with enthusiasm, with your heart opening up, they're going to want to know more about this. It's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, or I feel what you're saying. And have you ever noticed, like, really great communicators, they just get you sort of the sense that you connect on the heart space, you're excited. Other people, you can hear them speaking and it just looks like they're reading from a script. You know that there's no authenticity. A lot of times when I listen to an actor, a politician, or just like an infomercial or someone reading, you can tell that the person doesn't care at all. They didn't write those words. So you can have someone that's less articulate but more passionate, that's a more effective communicator. So know that it's not even so important what you say, but how you say it. I think I underlined that very well. So enough with that. One other nice thing with the Six of Wands is that it shows success and acceptance. It is in the upright position. There's really nothing negative about that. And it's in the possibility space. Some of you might be afraid of it, because this can be hopes, fears, and possibilities. So there might be a fear of success, like what happens if I actually achieve this goal that I've been working for? What do I do next? Or will I be able to handle success? Or is it really good enough? There's a lot of those kind of questions that can come through because of the placement of that. Everything that I see shows me that those are unfounded, that it's okay, you should move forward, okay? Looking at the outcome, what a beautiful card to be getting so soon in the year. We have the 10 of Wands, which is completion, moving on, travel. For some of you, being able to move into a new home, get a new job, find a new relationship, maybe cohabitate with someone here, because we saw all of the love cards as well. So this is a really big month for you, and really exciting energy, just as I could tell when I was walking the dog. Mostly what I see for you is growth. There may be something at the very beginning, because I see this little indication of something that I would see normally with the Death card. Or whenever I see a rose, I always think of the thorns. There's always something good, something bad, something that is a trade-off. So you'll be entering in the month with that trade-off, with that little bit of hesitation. But everything else that I see in this month for you, it's almost ridiculously optimistic, I would say, a lot of this. Things that you need to be focusing on, because I always like to give a balanced reading. I would say some of you are holding back too much. There's a discomfort with putting yourself out there, a shyness or an uncertainty. So you want to be able to basically make sure that you get out there. And I see someone saying, take action or you'll lose. Yeah, you could lose an opportunity, but you already know what to do. The thing with the Hermit is you can sometimes spend too much time in contemplation. So I think that by the midpoint of this month, action is super important for you. And I think that as long as you do that, you'll be okay, especially because we've got that Knight of Swords crossing the center. That means it's time to take action. So let's go ahead and expand the forecast. We'll get some additional insights into everything that I talked about. Each one of these cards is like putting a new lens over top of what I just saw. So we'll start off with your health card. For me, health involves your mind, your body, and your spirit. I was talking to a friend of mine about something that I was experiencing in my body, where I went and saw an acupuncturist, and they mentioned that there was also an emotional component, which I thought was really amazing. That, or actually, it was not an acupuncturist, but a chiropractor. But as they were working through it, they said, this isn't just your body. What's going on with this? I could tell they were intuitive, but it was a reminder. Everything that's going on in our body is mind, body, and spirit. So this card is going to help you bring those into focus. So we have blessings here, and a rainbow, which for me can show that for some of you, if there's anything that's going on that's created a sense of sadness, of why did this have to happen to me, or why is this happening to me? It's showing me, first of all, there's room for more improvement than maybe you imagined or a doctor imagined. Your mind and your spirit, and even the sort of like stubbornness of your own, the connection of that to your body, it can overcome the odds. So you have more resilience. Remember, I got the energy of bouncing back at the beginning. I feel like this definitely connects with the body. So if there's something that needs to be healed this month, think of yourself as having that sort of elasticity, that bouncing back, and you can do it. And also, you know what? It's okay to cry. I think that tears, laughter, and also when we work out, when we're sweating, these are ways to get rid of energy. So if you're going through a period where there's a lot of sadness or a lot of emotional kind of vulnerability, it's going to get better. And the rainbow card shows that part of getting to the rainbow is you have to get that stuff out. So if you're at a point in your life where you need to talk to somebody, we've got all of these communication cards. This is a really excellent time to find solace in friends, in a doctor if you want to go to a therapist, or you could also be finding your sense of community. 3 of Cups and 10 of Cups are absolutely about finding that new tribe of yours, whatever it is, whether it's yoga or sports or board games, whatever. There's really something for everyone nowadays. So get out there, find people who like the same things as you, and know that through doing that activity, you're going to find a sense of healing, a sense of belonging, and that you don't have to stay in whatever last year was bringing or last month was bringing. I also like to take a look at the cards and see if there's anything additional that is worthy of mentioning. And there are 2 things actually that I see right off the bat. Back to these 2 cards. I think that whenever I see an abundance of cups, particularly ones that show celebration, I would say moderation is key. 3 of Cups, definitely. 10 of Cups also. So some of you may have gotten through a point in your life where maybe you've even worked through an addiction or a habit. And this month there could be some temptations. You might even find that you slip a little bit, but I feel like you're going to be okay in the long run with the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands holds with it an additional bit of warning, which is that you want to be careful of your back. I was talking about the chiropractor. The 10 of Wands is so much easier to deal with than like 10 of Swords. Usually it's something that you bring on to yourself. So if it's lifting, it could mean that, you're wearing a backpack or a purse or an attaché, and it's kind of pulling you in the wrong way. Or if you just had a baby, you could be holding it and all of a sudden your back gives out. So watch how you carry weight on your back. The other thing with the 10 of Wands is pressure that you're bringing into your life, because this card can sometimes be about overcommitting or trying to do too much. Be realistic. And if you need help, ask for it, because it does exist here. Mostly though, this is showing that you can move through anything that you need to. So we notice that this person actually has pretty good posture. So I feel like you're going to be able to push through it and end up in a better place than you started. Let's move along to wealth opportunities. Wealth is not just money. It's how you feel about yourself, your self-worth. It's how you approach opportunities in your life. This month, I mentioned that people can be a big help to you. You may need to go through that initial sort of, I would say, formality of reaching out and saying, I really am interested in this. Don't expect things to come to you. The writing card to me is about texting, calling, emailing, or a traditional letter, either the first contact or the follow-up. People need a nudge this month is what I see with that. So if you do it in a way that is kind and assuming the best, you're going to be putting yourself in a really good place, because they'll probably receive that and think, oh yeah, I was meaning to get back to you. I'm so glad you checked in. And this opens up something really great. For those of you like me who enjoy writing, this is a good time to get to business, basically. And even if you're not a writer, journaling or using your hands to paint, to do something creatively, your hands have all these chakra points. Something happened last year where I kind of woke up with healing energy. And one night, actually, I was meditating and I looked at my hand and I could see all the little tiny points. It's almost like this galaxy of light on your hand. And actually, our whole body, if we were to kind of stand back and look at it, we have these little tiny points and it's like a constellation. And so when you use your hands, particularly, you're taking the energy and pushing it out and channeling it. So if you feel great happiness, great sadness, or just great sort of energy coming through emotionally, one way to channel it, to move it, is by using your hands. So writing, painting, sculpting, and also if you need to ground yourself, go outside and do some gardening. Touching the soil is good. Now, I know if it's cold outside, that's not going to work, but you can also work with the elements. You could just somehow get your hands, like you could work with pottery or something like that. Work with the earth element somehow, and that's going to help ground you. And I think that's part of what this is. But whatever you decide to put your energy into this month, I see great things. So get it out of your head, use your hands, and the hands are going to be the vehicle to channel it. So writing, painting, expressing yourself somehow. This is going to help you get further along on the job. But your words, as we said earlier, are very, very powerful this month, particularly spoken and written. So pay attention to that. And I think it's going to portend good things for you. Looking now at, we looked at health and wealth, we're going to look at love. So love is not just about new relationships. It's not just about romantic relationships. I say this frequently, but it bears repetition. Love is the currency of the universe. We use it with everyone and everything. And so this is how we can best spend that currency. This card is reversed, but I want to pull it upright so we can see it. And I have to pull it to the side as I read it as well. It says, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to one another, your bond deepens. So for those of you that are in an existing relationship, this is what I was talking about, where I feel like that sense of happiness, joy, and celebration got lost somewhere. It feels like you might have, you either drew your energy inward or your partner did. So this month it's kind of like shaking the tree a little bit and saying, hey, I'm still here. We're still here. Let's do something. It's also about vulnerability. So one thing that I've learned in life with parents, with friends, with relatives is that when you put yourself out there and do it in a way that even lets them know that that you're being vulnerable, people usually want to protect you, and they don't want you to sort of feel like you're going to not be loved. So this is a great litmus test, actually, if a friend or a loved one is there for you. There's something that you have to say, whatever it is. It could be about health, it could be about debt, it could be coming out, whatever you're trying to deal with. Express it from a place of love. Say, I love you. So I need to talk to you about this because you're the one person in my life that I really want to be there for this. So here's what it is. And if you set it up with love and you say, I love you and I need you to know this, and they don't support you, you know that they weren't there for you. If they do, you're going to just feel this sense, oh my God, we're so much closer. And they're going to love that you trusted them. So to me, the only thing that you have, you don't have anything to lose. You might actually see something for what it is, but if you feel like they've walked away or they left you, they never were there to start with. But you have a chance of things deepening, and I really didn't see people walking away. I didn't get the Six of Swords. So, I feel like you're going to have a chance to, with select people, get an even deeper connection. So think about it. Let me look also here, as I was looking at all the love cards, 3 of Cups, 10 of Cups, that sort of age or maturity difference. I will say this, if it works for you, don't worry about what others think. The 6 of Wands cards can sometimes be community, peer, or even like world pressure on you that's unnecessary. And some of you, this might be why you've pulled in. And if in fact you've cut yourself off from friends or loved ones for fear of rejection about something that's important to you in love, you might be protecting yourself, but you're also hurting yourself. So do what's best for you always. But I feel like there's a need this month to break free and really see people for who they are. And that's the opportunity in love. All right, let's look at destiny. As I said, I'm giving these to you a month, maybe even a month and a half early so that you have a lot of free will. I think that this is the way to move forward for all of us. We need to really own our intuitive powers and our psychic powers. So this card that we're going to look at is about what you can do to either stay on that path or to veer off and do something better. So this is about surrender. God, the universe, the higher power is in charge is what it's saying. And the card reverse is about letting go. So please do watch my manifestation video. It's on the main channel, and I'll make sure that it's linked up somewhere here after this goes live. But if you go to the main channel and click the link for manifestation, I actually talk about letting go and letting God. And when I say God, I mean God in its most sort of universal sense. And God is an it. So it's a connection to the divine energy that we all sort of share. But when you start to do your part, when you think, you basically set into motion what it is you want to do, you connect your heart space to it, you feel the energy of manifestation. At a certain point, you take a deep breath and think, I've done what I can. Now I'm going to go with the universal flow, with the cosmic flow. So that cosmos, that universal flow is going to carry you. And that's what this card is saying. So don't get stuck on God. God to me is everything. It's man, woman, flower, planets. It's all of that. So if you can just connect into the cosmic flow, then it will carry you. And that's what it's saying. But you have to do the work. In the video, I talk about someone who, when I was studying how to be a yoga teacher, my yogi, the yoga and guru, she was talking about how there was a student that just sat home and meditated on trying to get money. And that's not enough. You actually have to show up in the universe. Meditation is one step, but then doing the work is the other step. So do the work, believe in yourself, and then just let go. You don't want to sort of hold on to why isn't it happening? What isn't going on? Those questions can kind of, it's like staccato. It breaks up the energy of manifestation, and you want to be harmonious. You want it to flow. So there you go. Let's take a moment here to review everything that we talked about. And then I want to get to the really exciting stuff, which is we're going to look at past, present, and future influences on manifestation. And then I want to also do a meditation with all of you to help you get on that growth and rebound and also sort of expansion energy that I was picking up on, okay? So let's go ahead now. I'm going to turn the camera down and review everything, and then we'll get into that. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the creating a new season, and the creation word is really important. It doesn't matter what sort of artificially has been put into your life, whether it's you have to go through 4 years of school, or like I was saying, you're in a certain season, so nothing can happen. I don't believe in that. I believe that we can always create change no matter what age we are, where we're at, what people expect of us. So if you've gone through a period where you've given up your ability to kind of create because of an artificial season that's been put on you, know that now you can heal and rebound and regrow and move forward from that. You're going to see a new season, a spring, a summer in your life where things start to shift. You can also create harmony where none existed before. That's the big opportunity this month in old relationships and also in new ones. Communication is very much key as we look at King of Swords, Knight of Swords, Ace of Swords. For some of you, you might have to take the lead. We were talking about this. Don't be afraid of offering peace or talking about something critical. That's what the rose is. There's always a flower and also the thorns, but you're going to find a way to focus on the growth, on the flower opportunity here. I think some of you are sitting on a really good idea. Don't overthink. And we see overthinking in the way of the Hermit reverse and the Queen of Wands reverse. Most of the other cards were all upright. So go with what you already know. Trust your heart, trust your third eye, and allow that to spring forth and create that harmony, that opportunity that we saw with the catalyst. 3 of Cups and 10 of Cups. There's a lot of people this month that want to be in your energy. There's something very attractive about your energy this month. So use that to your advantage. And there might be a chance to be sort of a diplomat this month and become someone who can resolve conflict if that's something that's happening in your family or in the world, and you want to take a little bit of a lead on that. The Hermit reverse, come out of your shell, trust yourself. It's time now to sort of go forward with that idea that we saw here. Communication, nonverbal and verbal, that's going to be so important. The nonverbal is going to be what basically either gets your acceptance or people questioning what you're saying. So trust yourself and also hold yourself in a way that shows that you feel what you think and feel what you say. 10 of Cups. Listen, some of you may be at a point this month where someone proposes to you. Go from that casual state to a more permanent state. Some of you may be questioning, am I ready for marriage? Or you might be with a partner where you're wondering, why are we married? So there's a chance to sort of look at your relationship status and think, is this what I want? Because movement and shifting is very much possible this month. You can move in or out of a relationship if you'd like, but free will, it's up to you. It's what you want. You have to say what you want and show what you want this month. Queen of Wands is also highly demonstrative. So when I say demonstrative, I mean, again, show what you think. So your body language keeps coming through time and again this month as being super powerful and important. And what I'm seeing here with the 6 of Wands here is some people are just waiting to hear what you think. So you have an audience there, many of you. So know that that's something that's great, especially if you're choosing to write or share what you think with others. I'm seeing that you have that audience, so you just have to take a leap of faith. And we have the 10 of Wands at the end, which shows, again, growth, moving on, moving out, moving in with someone, basically an end of a cycle, a beginning of something new, which is what I was seeing when we talked about the channel message. We see recovery overall and hidden blessings. I didn't talk much about the blessings caption here, but everything that happens brings us to a new place in our life. So if we can see the blessing, we can move past the pain, and we can actually approach it with gratitude and appreciation. Written communication, obviously, for many of you is going to be very important. It could either be using your writing skills, whether that's writing a book or writing poetry or something like that, or simply reaching out and expressing interest or somehow editing something, but your communication is key. We also talked about just using your hands. That something wonderful is going to come from your ability to put your touch, your fingerprint on something this month. Vulnerability, transparency, honesty. That's basically what I would say for summing up the relationship card. Don't be afraid to show who you truly are, because there's a lot to love. And if people truly love you, then you're going to deepen that relationship. If they don't, then you can redirect the energy into someone that's more deserving of it. The universe, the cosmos, God is there for you. Once you release and trust yourself and trust your message, you're carried forth on that journey. And you can kind of imagine it as like being in a ship and having the wind blowing the sails and moving you in the right direction. So there's that little bit of release that's going to happen. Let's go ahead now and take a look at what is coming through both in the areas of healing and growth and also manifestation. These two things are kind of coming together for your sign this month. So I'm going to pull a past, present, and future influence for the month of February, but you can really pull this into all of 2020 since we're kicking it off. So let's start off with past influences, things that you want to focus on releasing or using to your benefit because you've already done the work. Judgment. Okay. So for me, judgment is really about understanding what you need to do. Justice can be weighing a decision. Judgment means that it's already been made, but sometimes it hasn't been articulated, or perhaps someone told you something and you're in the aftermath. That's kind of what we see here with this death and rebirth scene underneath. I actually like this because they're not really showing the coffin or anything. It's just showing people ascending and going up to something new, something better. Gabriel, of course, showing that communication, which we see is so important this month, is also coming through. So if it hasn't been said, say it. If it has been said, think about it and decide what you want to do with it, whether it's your message or someone else's. But I can't underline it enough. The words, the communication, the message is so important this month. So do spend some time to craft it and make sure it's exactly what you want. Notice all the angelic cards that we're seeing here. You're being guided to make a change in your life. And if you can simply kind of let go and let the change happen, great things can happen to you. And that's what we sort of saw also even with the 10 of Wands. It's releasing, it's moving forward. You've got the sun behind you. So things are going to be okay. It's never easy. A couple years ago, I moved into this new apartment. The moves are tough, whether you're doing it because you want to or because you have to. When you quit a job, I did that 5 years ago. It can be hard because just getting those words out of your mouth or breaking up, right? It's just hard to sort of say that truth. But once you do, gosh, it's so much easier to breathe. You feel free the moment that last word comes out of your mouth. So I just want to remind all of you of maybe moments in the past where the communication is freedom, right? Okay, let's look at what's coming through this month for manifestation, for healing. Got the wands again, Ace of Wands. I really think it's important for you to take that energy. I love how this illustrator showed the fire within the suit of fire, but look how much look how much potential energy is coming forward with this new idea, with this new vision. When we meditate, I really want to focus on that spark, that growth, that light that's going to happen, or that even if you want to think of a plant growing, reaching up, pushing through the earth, and then being able to reach something higher. Okay, it's there. This is a month for growth, and that's really what we see with the Ace of Wands. But you gotta feel it here. You have to believe yourself, or the manifestation won't work. Big love to you too. Thank you so much. Okay, now we're gonna look at future. Future is where this is taking you, and if there's anything that could be blocking that future flow. Nine of Wands in reverse. And so Nine of Wands is great. This is near completion. This, for many of you, is actually showing where you're at right now. And notice how you'll always see someone with a bandage, or that they're kind of a little worse for the wear sometimes when we're looking at Nine of Wands. That's also tied to the rainbow blessings card here that we see. So everything that you've been, the setbacks, the prejudice, the tears, the physical ailments that we've experienced, everything has brought you to this moment in time. And rather than seeing them as a sort of like something that's marring you, see them as like a badge of courage, a badge of honor. Everything's brought you to this point. And this is saying, don't be afraid to push that extra mile. So the Nine of Wands is about resilience and not giving up. I would also say like perseverance more than resilience. But you do need to keep pushing through. We do see the resilience here because nothing's going to knock you down. But you do have to keep pushing, and there's a little bit of that energy. Also, some of you may just have people in your life. This can be a mom, a boss, or a friend/frenemy that is trying to push their will or their fears or their uncertainty on you. And you're going to say, no, I know what I need to do. Okay? Let's get into the meditation. And we're going to focus on how to bring forth healing, growth, and really ascending to that new you, to really kind of allowing you to rise up. And that's going to be the meditation here this month. A reminder, of course, if you're at work, if you're walking, if you can't listen to this right now, this will be available on replay. And if you find that this is really helpful, you can watch this portion again, okay? All right, so everybody that can join me for this, let's get comfortable and open up your heart space. I want you to kind of see all of us connected as a circle of light. We're going to be sharing the best energy possible and connecting into that chain of light, okay? So close your eyes for a second. You can put your hands at your heart. If you want to put your left hand on top and your right hand on top of that, you can hold your heart space for a second. Take a nice deep breath with me. Bring your posture up for a second, and then on the exhale, let go of everything. Imagine that you're kind of uncoiling any of the tension that you might have built up, tension from your boss, from your parents, from yourself. With each breath that you take, you're starting to unwind, kind of like yarn, and just get into this nice loose energy for a moment. As you do that, start to feel each and every heartbeat, and remember that you have this amazing energy within the center of your body that's fueling your life each and every day. Honor your heart for a second. Give it some gratitude for keeping you alive, for sustaining you. And as you feel each heartbeat, start to see that energy pulse within you. Normally I would work with green light, but I've seen so much energy in wands this month. I want to start with yellow or orange. So we'll be bringing up energy from your solar plexus, and we're going to use the heart to pull that golden light throughout your body. So start to see your heart move this through your arms, through your legs, through your head, through each and every piece of your body, until if you were to stand back and look at yourself, you would see something that would look like an ascended master, an angelic being, a light body, where you're going to actually see your light body. Or as I saw that one night when I was meditating, the constellation of sort of chakra points that we have in our body. So with each breath, I want you to imagine that as your heart is beating, as your lungs are pushing that oxygen into the blood, that you are taking a dimmer switch and bringing it up a notch. You're starting to glow brighter and brighter and brighter. At first, you just sort of see your body, but then after a certain point, you're so bright that all you see is the light around you. And if you were to kind of take a few steps back, at a certain point, you would be shining as bright as the moon and then as bright as the sun itself. And I can actually feel the energy rolling through my hands. Imagine, if you want to as well, that as you're doing this, you could take the energy of the pose of the magician, pulling the light from the cosmos, bringing that energy and putting it into something that you want in your life. Love, relationship, recovery. Think of what it is in your life that you're ready to release. We talked about this being a chance for healing and regrowth. So what in your life reminds you of the Nine of Wands? What's your battle scar? What's your pain? What's your discomfort? Look at it for a moment and honor that feeling that you felt when you went through it. Sadness, disappointment, pain. And then try to go to that also and think, what did I learn from that? Could it actually have been a blessing? Could it be like that rainbow card where I learned something that I would have never experienced if it was just easy? Sometimes we have to go through that winding path to learn something. So find the blessing in it and bless the experience, bless the pain, bless the scar in your body, whatever it is. Take a nice deep breath and feel that sense of healing going into it. Now I want you to pull a little bit of the heart energy, which is green. And if you want to put your hand on a part of your body that needs the healing, you can do that. See the color shift from golden to green. And let's take a moment, because we can and because we should, and send love and light to everybody that's been going through all of that pain and disappointment in Australia. And let's send some of that green energy so that they can come back from this, so that plants can come back, the animals can recover, so that any of the loss of abundance that they felt can also come back. And know that by doing something just for the sake of doing it, that we'll also receive a blessing too. Unconditional love works that way. So together, let's send some healing energy to everybody that's experienced loss because of fire or other acts of God or nature. And we can expand that energy to blanket the entire planet as well. And while we're at it, let's actually heal the planet itself, which is in a place of crisis because of the fact that we don't pay enough attention to what's going on. So to Gaia, to Mother Earth, to our first parent here that's given birth to everything, let's give a little bit of healing as well. This is something I actually do in one-on-one appointments. I want you to connect to the soul or the heart of the planet as well. And as you give it love, feel that it actually loves you right back. Feel a sense of warmth, of light, and it's going to wrap you with that electromagnetic shield that it does for all of us, but it's going to protect you against harsh energies, harsh thoughts, even your own. And do something today to honor the planet. Clean up some litter, plant a flower, do something nice that's going to help really honor the earth, and know that by doing that, you're doing a small part in making it a better place for everybody. Now focus on what you want to create in your life. And if you have ever watched the Never Ending Story, which was a movie from the 80s, also based on a German book, I believe, there's a point at the end where the childlike empress holds a single grain of sand, and there's darkness all around her. And what I liked about that is she said, it's always dark in the beginning, but there's this little tiny light, this little tiny spark. And I keep seeing that for you, the Page of Wands, the Ace of Wands, even the Ace of Swords. So I want you to take that little spark of hope, that little spark of light. There's always hope. There's always uncertainty in the beginning, but take the hope, take the dream. And as you breathe in, imagine that this is going to glow, or you can imagine it as dust, and you're going to push this sort of magical dust out into your future. And that's maybe what we should do with this breath, is to make a wish. So nice deep inhale. See that little tiny light, that single grain of sand. And as you exhale, see it in multitudes, see it myriad. See all of that magical energy pushing itself out, healing, growing, manifesting in the future. Just take a moment now to know that you're going to be carried on by this vision of what you can be, what you want to be, where you know you're going to be, and allow, I can almost feel that sort of wind in the background pushing like a sail. You're going to allow that to push your own boat towards the future. Feel that energy, feel that support. Feel that light. And again, put your left hand on top of your heart, your right on top of that. One last breath as we start to come back into our bodies. Before you open your eyes, create a circle around your body, circle of green energy for growth, or a golden circle for protection, or both if you would like, and then gently open your eyes. Welcome back. That was beautiful. I hope you enjoyed it. And I really do think that we can heal ourselves, we can heal the planet. And I hadn't thought of that movie in a long time, but I really like how you can take something small and make it something big. So whatever that idea is, whatever that dream is, share it with the world, okay? So thank you so much for being here today. Before we wrap up, I'd like to remind you of the different ways that you can give back. And I have some old school visual aids because I can't put the graphics up in a live video. Obviously, many of you are already here on YouTube, but since you know my username here, just a reminder that it's the same on Facebook and on Patreon. It's just Nicholas Ashbaugh. So feel free to join me on those networks. Patreon is a great way to give back every month. Anything as little as $1 helps. You can also click the join button here on YouTube, and that's another way to give back. If you haven't hit subscribe, do that. It costs nothing, and it's just a vote of confidence. So a reminder that you can subscribe if you haven't already. My Instagram handle is first name _ last name. Instagram and Facebook are great places to follow me because I put story reminders in. Just a reminder to follow Nicholas Ashbaugh on Facebook, not my personal one, because you're not going to see story reminders there. For Twitter, you want to follow me at @Ashbaugh, first initial last name. And I always send out a tweet before I go live, so good way to know what's going on. If you're older school and you just want to use PayPal, this is the address, paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. And by the way, on the replay, you'll be able to pause it and look at all of these. Everything's available on my website. And just like Dana did right now, thank you so much, you can also use Super Chat. And I'll stick around for a second here in case any of you want to do that. I want to say thanks to my moderators, Ryan and Maria, for keeping everything organized today. And I also want to say thanks for everyone that was patient. I didn't see exactly what was going on, but I saw someone was causing some trouble. Just a reminder, this is a free resource for everyone. So try to make it a good community. If someone's doing that, let one of the moderators know. And I'm not letting it bother me, so you shouldn't either. That's just life. And as I said today, a lot of what we have to do sometimes is just block out the noise, so that happens. Hopefully you get an idea for how I do these one-on-ones. We can talk a little bit here at the end, but I like to keep these within an hour, and we're right at that point right now. So the Q&A doesn't really, I would be going an hour and a half or 2 hours, so I can't do that. I'll do a Q&A later. I'm almost at 200,000 subscribers, so I might do that as a thank you. But except for special events, I can't really do that because it takes me out of the flow, and not everyone's watching it live. So I want to make sure that the videos are consumable as is. So again, thanks, Maria. Thanks, Ryan. Small Wildflowers, welcome back. I've seen you here before. Nice to see you again. And everybody else, it was so nice to see all the different people from across the world. Again, I hope you enjoyed today. All right, if you want to stick around, some of you, I will be back at 11:30 for the next forecast. So that'll be Cancer. So if you're Cancer, rising sun or moon, I'll see you then. Otherwise, catch this or that on the replay, and I will see you for one of the other videos this month, okay? Take care, and thanks for joining. Have a wonderful day.